Welcome back to Meghan and Harry Tales. Today we're diving into part 2 of our coverage of Tom Quinn's new book, Yes, Ma'am, The Secret Life of Royal Servants, and the baffling way the British media continues to twist narratives about Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton. Now, if you're paying attention, you'll notice a common pattern. Every so-called insider conveniently flips between backhanded praise and outright vilification of Meghan. Why? Because they're obsessed, and more importantly, they are terrified of her confidence. Let's break it down. It's a world of whispers, where loyalty is tested and secrets simmer beneath the surface. Quinn's book, however, is merely a whisper itself, a starting point for a larger conversation about the monarchy and those who marry into it. We find ourselves, in 2025, still grappling with the saga of Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex. The British media, a powerful force in shaping public opinion, continues to weave a tangled narrative around her. It's a narrative that often seems at odds with the woman herself, a woman who embodies compassion, strength, and a commitment to positive change. This essay seeks to unravel that narrative, to look beyond the headlines and examine the ways in which Meghan's story has been refracted through the lens of a media machine fueled by tradition and at times a peculiar form of institutional anxiety. By exploring the stark contrast between the Duchess's positive attributes and the persistent smear tactics employed against her, we can begin to understand the deeper forces at play. This is not simply about one woman's experience, it's about challenging the very notion of what it means to be a powerful woman in the modern age, particularly within the confines of an institution as steeped in tradition as the British monarchy. To understand the intensity of the media's focus on Meghan, one must first understand Meghan herself. Her story, before royalty entered the picture, was one marked by resilience, ambition, and a deep-seated commitment to social justice. A successful actress, she was already a known entity, a familiar face on television screens. Yet she was also a woman who used her platform to speak out against injustice, to advocate for gender equality, and to champion causes close to her heart. This, in itself, set her apart. Here was a woman unafraid to use her voice, a woman who refused to be defined solely by her profession or her relationship status. The British media, however, seemed to struggle with this image of a strong, independent woman. Perhaps it was unfamiliar territory, a departure from the archetype of royal decorum. Whatever the reason, the narrative began to shift. The very qualities that made Meghan admirable were recast as flaws. Her passion became aggression. Her outspoken nature was deemed confrontational. And so began the construction of a caricature, a distorted reflection that bore little resemblance to the woman herself. The media's portrayal of Meghan is often characterized by a curious duality. One moment, she is lauded for her grace and elegance, her impeccable style, and her ability to connect with people from all walks of life. The next, she is vilified for the very same things. Her fashion choices are dissected, her every move scrutinized for any hint of impropriety. This pendulum swing between praise and vilification creates a dizzying effect, leaving the public with a sense of whiplash. It also speaks to a deeper discomfort with Meghan's refusal to conform to a preordained mold. This tactic, however, is not unique to Meghan. The British media has a long history of building up and tearing down women in the public eye, particularly those who marry into the royal family. Princess Diana's tragic story serves as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of such relentless scrutiny. The difference, perhaps, lies in Meghan's response. She has not remained silent in the face of such treatment. She has spoken out against the unfairness, the double standards, and the outright falsehoods perpetuated by certain sections of the press. This, in itself, is a radical act, a refusal to be silenced or controlled by forces that seek to define her narrative. Section 4. Navigating the Labyrinth, Protocol and Prejudice. Much has been made of Meghan's supposed difficulty in adapting to royal protocols. She has been accused of being too Hollywood, too used to the world of red carpets and flashing lights to understand the nuances of royal life. This narrative, however, ignores the reality of Meghan's experience. She entered the royal family with her eyes wide open, fully aware of the challenges that lay ahead. Furthermore, she demonstrated a willingness to learn, to embrace the traditions and customs that came with her new role. To suggest that she hated royal protocols is not only inaccurate but also deeply unfair. It undermines the effort she made to navigate a complex and often archaic system. The truth is that Meghan's struggles were not solely about protocol. They were about the insidious ways in which prejudice and bias can permeate even the most hallowed institutions. Section 5. The Palace of Unequal Measures. The disparity in treatment between Meghan and her sister-in-law, Kate Middleton, has been well documented. While Kate has enjoyed a largely positive relationship with the British press, Meghan has been subjected to a level of scrutiny and criticism that borders on the obsessive. This disparity is particularly striking when one considers the similarities between the two women. Both are intelligent, accomplished, and committed to their families. Yet, their experiences within the royal family have been vastly different. The reasons for this unequal treatment are complex and multifaceted, but they cannot be divorced from the undercurrents of racism and xenophobia that have plagued British society for generations. Meghan's biracial heritage, her American upbringing, and her independent spirit challenged the very notion of what a royal consort should be. She represented a departure from the norm, and for some this was a source of discomfort, even fear. Section 6. Strength's many faces, beyond the veil of tradition. The comparison between Meghan and Kate often extends to discussions of their respective strengths. Kate is frequently lauded for her stoicism, her ability to maintain a composed facade in the face of adversity. Meghan, on the other hand, is often criticized for her emotional vulnerability, her willingness to express her feelings openly. This dichotomy, however, reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of what it means to be a strong woman. To equate strength solely with stoicism is to perpetuate a narrow and ultimately harmful stereotype. True strength lies not in suppressing one's emotions, but in embracing them, in allowing oneself to be vulnerable, to feel the full spectrum of human experience. Meghan's willingness to be open about her struggles, to share her story with the world, is not a sign of weakness, but of immense courage. Section 7. The Crown's Shadow. Fear and the misunderstanding of true strength. In many ways, the relentless attacks on Meghan Markle reveal more about the insecurities of the British monarchy than they do about the Duchess herself. Her strength, her independence, and her unwavering commitment to her values represent a challenge to the status quo, a disruption of the traditional power dynamics within the royal family. This, it seems, is what truly frightens the palace. The idea that a woman, particularly a woman of colour, might not only embrace her own power but also inspire others to do the same. Meghan's story is a reminder that true strength cannot be contained by titles, protocols, or archaic traditions. It is a force that emanates from within, fueled by authenticity, compassion, and an unwavering belief in one's own voice. As she continues to forge her own path, she serves as a beacon of hope and inspiration, reminding us that even in the face of adversity, the human spirit can triumph.